riddle me this, Jess. Who's coming in, or I guess who in their right minds right now in the universe that doesn't have this is thinking to come in to potentially get this tattooed? You know? No wonder tattoos get such a bad rap, because technically, if this thing was applied perfectly, perfect lines, perfect color saturation, shading was perfect, someone in the world, probably most people in the world, would say that is a shitty tattoo. Also, look at that little blemish. You put that on your arm, you're getting looked different at the sandwich shop, for sure. The first couple days of getting back into tattooing, the first couple lines are a little shaky, so the end of the week ones are always a little bit better. So you're getting the good stuff.
This thing's sick right there.
I have the line drawing of it here.
I think a little smaller.
Pretty much, I have 3 designs I go to if someone asks me what I want to do, and I go Flame Skull 1, Humpty Dumpty 2, every time. And then I'll kind of hit them with the safe bet. I love doing cherry, so I'll go cherry mouth, cherry arrow, punk monkey. I was doing graphic design. I went to art school for graphic design, and out of college I was working some licensing jobs in LA, trying to fit the mold of graduating college and moving to LA. And I ended up leaving this licensing company, moved home for a bit, was lost. You're seeing your friends start their lives and, start to have money and move out, and you start to get lonely, and you're fuck, I'm not learning anything. I'm not I don't know, I couldn't put my effort towards anything. And finally got to a point where I just really had nothing to live for, essentially. And kind of during that week of my rock bottom, I ended up getting fired, which ended up kind of being the best thing that happened to me in retrospect now. I always knew that I liked tattooing. I always tried to find an into it, but I was always traveling around the world to get tattoos, and it was just it never worked out to where I became friends with too many people in local shops to get an opportunity. A lot of my friends locally were getting tattooed by this guy Kyle Klein that was doing tattoos out of a little studio. I set up an appointment with him, and I was I'm just gonna ask him some questions. Everyone says he's such a great, nice, cool guy. If he shuts me down about asking about how to paint flash or how to tattoo, then whatever. So went to him. We ended up hitting it off. We had basically the same brain, and she didn't really show me anything, but he was here's the utensils you need. Just try it out. I don't need to give you any tips. Just see where it takes you. So I was just painting flash. It was absolutely terrible, and I would show him, and he would pick the worst one that I did and say it was somewhat good, and it just kind of kept driving me. And one night he was hey dude, cruise over, let me show you how to paint flash. Went over to his house. He lived across the street from me. He showed me pretty much how to paint flash, and from there it never stopped. It just became my life. Didn't really have an end goal, and I think that's what was the coolest part about it was it was just effortless. I didn't have to think about, okay, this is gonna go in a shop one day. It was just for pure fun and enjoyment, and I guess just to see progression. I did that for at least 7 to 8 months, and I was okay, I kind of want to tattoo myself. So I did my first tattoo on myself, actually set up the machine properly, and took the knowledge that I was learning from Kyle to tattoo myself, and I just did a simple cherry. And I mean, it didn't turn out completely terrible, which was cool. And I was I think I can do this. And I just kept kind of just taking more and more baby steps, painting more. People were kind of hitting me up for tattoos. At the time, I wasn't ready to even be tattooing yet, but it was, close friends. So I was forget it. I'm just gonna try it. I did a tattoo trade with one of my friends, Draven, for my first real tattoo on someone, and it just kind of clicked, and it just kind of was this shampoo effect, if you will, of people kind of just hitting me up for my designs I was doing. And I guess like another 6 months kind of went by. We had an opportunity for this spot that I'm in right now to like open something in it, and it was like all carpet before, and it was just it was a pretty shitty like little spot. Like, I'm just gonna take the liberty and just like learn how to like put in flooring myself. So ripped out the carpet, put in the flooring. I did the floorboards and painted the place like 10 times until I got like the right color. And I kind of like surprised Kyle. I was like, hey, like, come check this out. And I brought him over here, and he was like, so when do we move in? It was so crowded. It was like the most like fun I've ever had in my life, and there was just so many good things happening in my life. It was like breath of fresh air that I've never felt before, because I was always like down in life, always didn't know what I was doing, just always in a bad headspace, always negative, and it was the first time I could like breathe and be like, holy shit. It was euphoric. I've never felt like that before, so. I don't know why I'm so into it. It's full just fascination. Growing up, I was always into collecting like Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards and just anything I could like collect. I mean, besides like the application of traditional, you know, it's bold, like colorful. I just think it just has some sort of like edge to it, but it's also like super sensitive, and I think that's why I like it so much, because none of it really like makes sense. Like, you have like obviously the roses and the skulls and stuff, but then it's like, why are you getting something like this? And I think that's what draws me to it. And before, when I was getting into tattoos, I was scared of this stuff, you know, like you're scared of the Wile E. the Coyote. How could you not be, like when you're 18, you know? I'm just so ultimately attracted to it. I just can't stop looking at stuff as a tattoo, even if it's not tattoo related or necessarily traditional, like anything that could be potentially used as a tattoo. And whether it's painted on the wall or being looked at on the wall or put together as like a tattoo, you can pair stuff so well. You have a skull cherry next to this guy, next to like a snake. Like, it's three different, completely different subjects that all just work together. I guess the best part about it is you can get so many eclectic people up here. People that don't like tattoos, people that do like tattoos, and I feel like they may not necessarily like being tattooed or may not have any tattoos, but everyone can kind of relate to something on the wall. Let's say you're someone that is very religious, and then all of a sudden you see a Jesus head on the wall. Or if they see, you know, some old character like Andy Capp or something, then they're like, oh my God, I read that cartoon when I was a little kid. And then all of a sudden some, you know, 50-year-old dad's getting that thing on his arm. I think there's stages of it where it's relatable, and then there's also stages of it where it's unrelatable. Like, unrelatable factors, these two. Like, no one's relating with that unless you have a bunch of tattoos and are like psyched to take a step on the wild side, you know? Like, you gotta get that. Everyone needs that. Potential candidate. I just have to find this one. I'm down to do either. This one's face is a little bit more open, especially in black and gray, but I'm down to do either. And I always try to be somewhat confident in myself, but I think just through like the last 3 years of like losing jobs and trying to find myself, I lost so much confidence in myself, and I didn't know who I was and what my purpose in life was. And I think that was the hardest part about accepting the fact that I wanted to like, you know, put art out there. I was really scared of the big world out there to criticize me, and I never thought I was like a good enough artist and good enough, you know, really anything. And it just came to a point where I was like, fuck it, like, if people don't like it, they're not gonna like it anyways. I think now that I'm just doing something that I solely believe in, people's opinions are absolutely irrelevant to me. And I'm not trying to give some inspiring speech because, you know, I'm at the T-ball level of tattooing compared to like, you know, the whole entire world out there. But I'm in a pretty good place and I'm like comfortable with myself and I have like confidence that I can do this forever and I can, you know, hopefully make people happy. And I'm so thankful that I have my friends through it. And if it wasn't for these weird stickers on our bodies, I wouldn't have half of my friends. How you doing?
Come on, take some of this candy.
Ghetto Blaster?
How's it going?
Good, Jen. How are you?
Good. No, I mean, how's the vlog?
I think it's going good. We're getting somewhere.
I'm just rolling this thing.